Back at it for another exciting day of morning local television. I hope. Hi, how are you? This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. It is the 29th day of May, 2019. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life Channel. Beautiful morning, beautiful day. Still a little instability, something stability in the atmosphere. It happens when it warms up rather dramatically and quickly in the afternoon. That makes the atmosphere a little cranky, and you could have an occasional pop-up thunderstorm. We came pretty close to having one yesterday. You could see it. The air kind of got heavy, and the atmosphere got heavy, and it was heavy. In any event, a couple of just stray showers that's all that happened. But that's going to be the case all this week. Lots of warm sunshine with high pressure, and most of the elements that cause nasty weather is not going to be visiting us. But again, when you have rather dramatic warm temperatures. In fact, our forecast high today is going to be in the upper 80s. We're going to be one of the warmest spots in the state, as a matter of fact. This is going to be the hot spot right here in the Wenatchee Valley for the rest of the week and into the weekend, including maybe 90 on Friday and Saturday. Forecast details are coming up. We got your morning headlines. We got sports. We got today in history. We got birthdays. We got the obscure holiday. Everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion on this Wednesday. Maggie McManus from John Newberry Elementary School and Emily Patton from Avamere Assisted Living dropped by to see me yesterday. We taped it to air it back today. It's a really cool pen pal program that Maggie put together at John Newberry Elementary School. We hope it really catches fire. It's really neat. They got fourth graders writing to the residents of Avamere, and it's turned into just a really cool story, and so they came by to visit me yesterday about that. That's an interview absolutely don't want to miss. Fascinating stuff. It went long because we just kept talking. You'll like it, though. It's coming up. A couple of minutes after the hour, if it's okay with you. It doesn't really matter if it's okay with you. It's okay with me and Megan. We'll just go around the valley with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless. Outside of a few high clouds, that's what we're looking at on this Wednesday morning. Again, isolated thunderstorms still possible late in the afternoon all through this forecast period. Got some graphics to show you where you have the best chance of getting a thunderstorm. Spectacular view there from our cross camera. Zoomed in just a little bit. It's a 4K camera. A number of our cameras, we have about 70 of these, give or take a couple. We're switching them out from regular high definition to 4K high definition, so you really get a super sharp, blingy, colorful view of our beautiful area we like to call home, north central Washington. But again, the Columbia River is running cold and running high. Camera 2, where are we off to, Megan? I don't know. Megan gets to decide. I have to guess, and I'm guessing, well, I can tell you right there, that's what we call the Apple Annie's camera, high above beautiful Cashmere. Seems to be moving just a little bit. I was just outside not 10 minutes ago, and I didn't see any or feel any wind. Maybe that little exposed ridge above Apple Annie's is catching it a little bit. Beautiful view down there of Cashmere. The mighty Wenatchee River keeps rolling right along. This is basically on that ridge above Apple Annie's. That's why we call it that camera. All the cameras have a name. Some of them, quite frankly, don't make sense, but I don't name them. Somebody else does. Camera 3, we're going to take a slow dissolve to Stamen Flats. Da-da-da-da. Stamen Flats camera. Not far from the Knapsail Tunnel, where you have to make your decision when you head on up to Chelan. Is it the Navarre Coulee or is it the Knapsail Tunnel? Most of what you see, of course, is Douglas County. That camera came in real handy during that orchard fire that got out of control last week. Unfortunately, a ridge was blocking our view, so we had to use a different camera to show you that spectacular footage. But that's a beautiful view there with the US 97A and the Stamen Flats roads out there. Beautiful view. Good morning to the folks up there. Finally, camera number 4. Is that jump off ridge moved a little bit? Oh, they did. Looks like it's crooked. That's the jump off ridge camera, but you don't see the valley. We've moved that basically to the north. So you can see the East Wenatchee Bench, lots of orchards there, the Highlander Golf Course plainly in view there, and the houses adjacent to the Highlander Golf Course. The Columbia is down there, just a little snipple of the Stimilk Basin. They did some work on the roadway up there on Stimilk Creek Road. They had some serious rains up there that undermined the roadway. We'll have that when we get to the news, but that's a pretty cool view. Now that's way up there, so that gives you an idea of the kind of the hazy conditions in the higher elevations. But it's going to be another day of just lots and lots of beautiful gooey good sunshine until we get late in the afternoon. Kind of it's basically the same forecast as yesterday, just a little bit warmer from the National Weather Service. Take a look at what we're looking at here. Lots of sunshine today, high of 88, 62 for the overnight low tonight. Couple of clouds perhaps. Sunny Thursday, 88 again. Then 90 is a distinct possibility Friday and Saturday. And we're going to warm up. Yesterday's high was 85. The low was 60. Our normal high is 74. So we were 11 degrees above normal. And we're going to be above normal right into the weekend before we cool down a little bit on Monday and Tuesday. Best chance of thunderstorms. I got a slide to show you from the National Weather Service. I sent this along yesterday afternoon. Green means thunderstorms. So you can see they're just going to be skirting the Wenatchee Valley. Looks like Leavenworth could get maybe a thunderstorm or two. The plain area, the farther north you go, the better chance you have of some thunderstorms developing late in the afternoon. Looks like we're going to be okay. Obviously, the Columbia Basin is going to be fine, but basically, when you see the green, that is your best chance of a thunderstorm. All of these, of course, will be late afternoon thunderstorms. We kind of dodged a bullet yesterday. But of course, some of these thunderstorms, once they get up and going, boy, we're talking about heavy rain, even hail. So there is that chance of a thunderstorm. I just thought I'd throw it out there. And there's basically a chance of a thunderstorm really over the next 4 or 5 days until we get to basically Sunday. There's going to be a continuing chance of thunderstorms. Outside of that, sunny and warm, temperatures well above normal. Beautiful stretch of weather. There you go. Take a look at it. I got no problems with that because my air conditioner works and those overnight lows are pretty mild. I guess the only thing to mention about the weather, while I'm thinking about it, is that we're going to get real warm real quick. So if you're not used to it yet, the heat, you want to limit your exposure, obviously, outdoors, obviously in the late afternoon hours when it's at its warmest. And if you have to be outside for a long period of time, don't forget to hydrate. Hydrate the heck out of yourself and you should be just fine. So looking good. Lots of sunny and warm temperatures. Of course, don't forget Saturday is June 1st. By the way, sunrise this morning 5:10, sunset 8:47 tonight. That's 15 hours and 37 minutes of daylight. We're gaining just about 2 minutes of daylight a day, which doesn't seem like much, but it starts adding up until we get to the summer solstice coming up on June 21st. Before we take a break and come back with the news, special thanks to our friends at Confluence Health for hopping on board, being a sponsor of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Confluence Health, dedicated to providing safe, high-quality care for everybody in North Central Washington. Don't go anywhere. Grab your cup of coffee and come back. The news is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurances of North Central Washington, where we help our clients navigate the Medicare world. One of the things we really enjoy doing is teaching our clients about their rights. Like, did you know that if you have a traditional Medicare supplement, you can change that monthly all year long, regardless of prior health conditions? So if you'd like to know more about your options with Medicare, you can visit us at one of our 5 local offices, as well as give us a call at 888-2600.
Welcome back. It's 9 minutes after the hour. Clear skies, 62 degrees. We'll top off in the upper 80s today and Thursday, just about 90 degrees on Friday and Saturday before we cool down just a little bit towards the back half of the weekend. Here's what's making headlines on this Wednesday. Well, they started work yesterday. You may have noticed it if you're outside the Pybus Public Market in the roundabout area, the main entrance. It's the much anticipated construction of what's going to be known as the Pybus Plaza. The work will eliminate that dirt and mud and potholes that's been around there since the market opened back in 2013. The new plaza will feature European-style pavers, new sidewalks, lighting, landscaping, a water fountain, and an art sculpture of one kind or another. The end result will be the creation of a nice mini public square or a community thoroughfare that will provide easy pedestrian access between downtown Wenatchee and the Apple Capitol Loop Trail and Pybus Public Market. Well, Wenatchee's Lighthouse Christian Ministries has a new home base to serve the area's poor. and homeless. A new soup kitchen and chapel located in a repurposed warehouse on Columbia Street over the weekend. Our very own senior news correspondent Steve Hare caught up with Sean Arrington, the Lighthouse Ministries director.
Well, it's moving day here at the Lighthouse Christian Ministries in downtown Wenatchee, a faith-based organization that for years has served the needs of the homeless and the downtrodden here in the Wenatchee Valley. Well, they've been operating out of their soup kitchen and chapel on South Wenatchee Avenue, but they've been going through some growing pains along with the homeless population here in the Wenatchee Valley. So they saw a need to move and refurbish an old warehouse here on South Wenatchee Avenue to serve their needs into the future. We had a chance to talk with their Director of Services, Sean Arrington, about the move and what it really means for the organization.
Yeah, we're extremely excited for the opportunity to have a facility which will not only meet the need but be prepared if there is a greater need to come.
Well, let's talk about what went into this project.
Yeah, it's been about 3-4 years or so of a lot of help, a lot of volunteers, and a lot of fundraising, and seeing the need for this building has been great and greatly met, and we're excited to be moving in. And you know, one of the things that we're beginning to realize is we've been so focused on getting this building done that we haven't been raising funds for operation. And so now that the building's done, now like our huge need is operational funds.
Okay, so there is ongoing need for funding.
Yeah, it's probably the greatest need we've ever seen because everything we've put into getting this building open.
Well, I know you've done a lot to address the issue of homelessness here in the Wenatchee Valley, and for that matter, all of the problems that go into that. So at this point, Sean, how would you describe, what is your sense for the state of homelessness here in the Wenatchee Valley right now and the help that's available?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see the amount of help that is available for homeless here. I do know that most of the homeless here are people who are native to this area. And although we have not seen the homelessness numbers decrease much or praise God, increase much, we've seen a huge increase in population in the Wenatchee Valley. So what we have seen is the per capita, the homeless situation percentile is definitely decreasing. For the amount of people that are moving into this valley, and for us to keep it at that same number, that's something that I don't believe any other town in Washington can say.
Now, the move from your facility on South Wenatchee Avenue to the new warehouse here, that's going to be a process over the next few weeks. So that's going to mean maybe a disruption in your services for the homeless.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we're closed today. So we're going to see what it's like to not have Lighthouse Christian Ministries meeting the needs of the homeless for about a week until probably the first week of June. So just this morning as I was driving down to start the move, I was noticing a person on almost every block. And this is something that the Wenatchee Valley has seen some homelessness, but we haven't seen people all over every block. And so it's just going to be, I believe, really obvious what God's been doing through Lighthouse Christian Ministries and giving people who are homeless a place to be other than out on street corners, other than out in people's businesses. And so we hope that this week goes fast and that we finish strong and we give them a brand new place to be once again so that they can get raised up.
And again, according to Sean, you can find out more information about the various services and programs offered through the Lighthouse Christian Ministries on their website, or you can also find them on Facebook as well. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Thank you very much, Steve. We appreciate it. A motorist was fortunate to escape injury Saturday on Blewett Pass when a falling rock went through the driver's side windshield of the vehicle. Trooper John Bryant of the Washington State Patrol says the rock missed the driver's head by inches. It was one of several rocks that fell onto the roadway at milepost 177. Bryant said vehicles there suffered tire damage running over the rocks before a cleanup crew from the state could get there. The rain over the weekend loosened up the hillsides, and Bryant warns motorists to be especially mindful of those dangers. Well, speaking of heavy rains damaged Stimmilt Creek Road over the weekend, and that delayed planned road work on nearby Stimmilt Loop Road as county crews were diverted to do the repairs. Upper Stimmilt Creek Road, beginning at milepost 1 and continuing for about a half a mile, was limited to one lane during the repairs. They had flagger-controlled traffic as well. The work lasted most of the day. Today, Chelan County Public Works crews will concentrate on preservation work on Lehman Road and on Squilchuck Road, which will mean, of course, delays there for motorists. If you can avoid the area altogether, it's a good idea. Well, morel mushroom hunting is in full swing in the Wenatchee National Forest. Sherry Schneider-Means is an experienced expert in the field of mushroom hunting and cooking. And in this morning's feature story, she offers some tips on where and how to find them. And she sat down with our very own senior news correspondent, Steve Hare, to have this conversation.
And I'm sure that a lot of the sites and places where you go to hunt for these mushrooms are pretty secret, aren't they?
Well, yes, we have our secret patches that come up year after year. But the burns, you know, after a wildfire, pretty much everybody around here knows that you can get morels in a wildfire zone. But wildfires are often up above 4,000 feet on the ridges and peaks of these high mountain slopes. You can be on a steep 60% grade when you're hunting them. And it's slippery. If it's raining, all that ash makes it just as slippery as can be. So you got to be super careful. You get your car caught in a bog up there, get caught in a snow berm. There's still snow up at the top where we're picking morels now. Yeah. So you got to be prepared if you're going to go morel hunting. And if you're a first timer, you should take a friend. Don't go by yourself.
It's always good to have a little guidebook along with you, too, and I see that you brought your entire library with you.
No, that's only a tiny bit of my library. I have
so you want to tell us a little bit about some of these guidebooks that you have to share
Well,
with us?
Sure. Okay, so I always recommend this guidebook, All the Rain Promises and More, by David Aurora. He lives in Northern California. He is one of the world's foremost experts at the current time. This guidebook is all about Western mushrooms. It's hilarious. It's got good pictures. There's a little chanterelle. See, it looks kind of like you.
Yeah,
look
kind
how
of like
happy.
me, a little bit, yeah.
People who hunt mushrooms are happy people, but they're a little secretive, so you got to get a guidebook. This one has a lot of good pictures and really good ways for a beginner to start identifying the basic mushrooms. This one is what we call the Mushroomer's Bible, Mushrooms Demystified. It's a spin-off and more advanced than this little hip pocket guide right here. But when you really are trying to learn to identify mushrooms, you got to go through this book and learn the different families, the different genuses, all the different species. There's good photographs, good identification, and there's a trick to learning how to be an expert mushroomer that I learned from my botanist friend, Julie Sanderson. She runs the weed board now.
What's the
She
secret?
taught me how to do a field identification, a key, using a key. And the key is like a series of yes or no answers.
I see.
Does the mushroom have a honeycombed black cap? Yes. Does it have a white stem? Yes. It's probably a morel.
Oh, interesting.
And it goes down this long list of yes or no answers, and then it takes you to different families of mushrooms. So you got to learn how to key in your mushrooms.
I was going to say, well, how do you distinguish between the poisonous variety and the edible variety?
Well, there's thousands of mushrooms, and each one has a varying degree of edibility or not. So my advice is to learn from one of these guidebooks, the two most poisonous mushrooms. Learn them well, find them out in the woods so you know which ones you can't eat, and then start on some of the basics like chanterelles and morels and boletes. Boletes are pretty safe for a beginner. Anything with the yellow, porous, sponge-like underside to it might be a bolete, and therefore it's probably edible.
Okay.
But again, you got to know more than just that. You can't go out and eat these things.
No.
You go out and you learn first, and you use your guidebook, get some basic knowledge, take a couple classes, go online, and then bring them home and study them and make sure you never eat anything that you're not 100% sure of your identity.
Happy hunting for you mushroom hunters out there. And those books, I'm going to the library before this day is over. Good stuff. That's the news here, 19 minutes after the hour. Don't forget the news comes your way tonight. A full half-hour newscast with Grant Olson in the anchor chair, also doing a little weather forecasting. This is the time of the year where it's pretty easy for Grant. Also, Eric Granstrom will be tackling sports. Sorry for the analogy there. The news comes your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. The evening news, Grant Olson, Eric Granstrom, 5, 6, and 10, available on demand on our website at ncwlife.com, just about 5 o'clock in the evening. That way you can watch it whenever you want to. And don't forget, we stream all the time, 24/7, 365. So whatever's being broadcast, either over the air or on your local cable provider, is also available to you to watch on your computer, your phone, whatever the case may be that you get your internet from, because you can watch us whenever you feel like it. And at the bottom of the screen are all the different ways you can get a hold of us. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to take a break. When we come back, sports, you're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
we get to a point where people are really like, okay, I have these weird things going on, and they just lay it all out with us. And you can tell they're like kind of embarrassed, and we're like, we've heard it all, we love this, and we know exactly what you're talking about. And you can tell they're like, you know, they came in thinking, how am I gonna talk about this?
To me, there's nothing else in the world quite as special as when a baby is born. And why would I want to do anything else?
There was a time when you had to travel a great distance to enjoy premium wine and food pairings. Now you can experience it right here in North Central Washington. Surround yourself with the beauty and romance of the Lake Chelan Valley and enjoy some of the finest winery restaurants in the world. Get your taste of adventure at Siren Song Vineyard Estate and Winery, Wapato Point Cellars Winemakers Grill, or Sorrento's at Chelan Cellars. All three have their own style and unique charm. Now you're less than an hour from excellence.
Welcome back. 21 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's do sports. Ronald Guzman's 3-run home run highlighted a 7-run fifth inning. Texas topped the Mariners 11-4. Last night, Marco Gonzalez lost his 5th straight decision. He lasted 4 innings. He allowed 8 runs, 8 hits. He struck out 4. The former Apple Sox pitcher has not won since back on April 25th. At that point, he was 5-0, and the Mariners were in first place. Since then, he's dropped to 500, and Seattle has gone 7-22. Manager Scott Service said there may be something mechanically wrong with Gonzalez last night.
You know, it just looks like he's a little off, maybe a tick off mechanically, you know, and getting some balls, you know, typically where he doesn't, you know, in the middle of the plate. So, you know, Marker is a really good competitor, and it drives him crazy when he's not able to, you know, get deep in the ball game. So, you know, he'll get, you know, take a look at some video and hopefully, you know, tighten it up and get back to what he's normally capable of doing, living on the edges, using all of his pitches, and just wasn't able to repeat pitches tonight and sequence them up like he typically does.
And to add injury to insult, and we mean that literally, Mariners shortstop J.P. Crawford left the game late. He has an ankle injury. It was a rundown at third base. Manager Scott Service says he hopes it's just a sprain.
JP is playing great, you know, not just tonight. Probably tonight might have been one of his best games since he's been up. Very disappointing. You know, fortunate rolled the ankle is what he did, and he's getting X-rays right now. You know, we'll know more in the morning. Hopefully, it's just an ankle sprain, and he'll be back soon. But we'll keep our fingers crossed. But can't say enough about the way he has been playing. You can just see the confidence starting to come out of him. Made a couple of really nice plays at shortstop tonight. Swung the bat great. Just, you know, unfortunate. You know, he's trying to dodge, get out of the way of a tag there, or, you know, try to get back to the base in the base running error.
Crawford had gone 2 for 3 with a run and RBI in the game before the injury occurred. Malix Smith performed well in the leadoff spot. He went 3 for 5 with a couple of RBIs. They have a matinee today. They'll get going early. 12:40 first pitch. Wade LeBlanc will take the mound for the Mariners. Jose Leclerc will start for the Rangers. The Mariners have committed 60 errors so far this year, and they haven't even played 60 games. Okay, to the Les Schwab scoreboard we go. Let's talk about the American League West. Alex Bregman, a couple of home runs to give him an American League leading 19 on the year. Houston knocks off Chicago 9-6. Shohei Ohtani lined a tie-breaking 2-run base hit in the top of the 9th inning. The Angels knock off Oakland 6-4. So the standings in the division pretty much the same. Houston on top, 37-19. Oakland slipped with that loss. They're 7.5 back, 29-26. The Rangers win over Seattle, helped Texas back to the 500 mark. They're 5 games out. The Angels are 3 games under 500, 11 games back. And there are the Mariners, 13.5 games back in the cellar of the AL West. Well, we're just 5 days away from the start of the Wenatchee Apple Sox 20th season. Bring it on. You can get a sneak peek of this summer's team. This Saturday, it is Apple Sox Fan Fest. Fans can watch a live practice for free from 5 to 6:30 Saturday night at Paul Thomas Senior Field. Manager Kyle Krustagel finalized his 40-man roster with the signing of Washington State sophomore infielder Cody Colden. Krustagel said he wanted to go with an older, more experienced roster this season.
But, you know, we've been right there for 2 straight years, and we definitely feel like, this is the best roster put together that we've had so far entering. I'd say a couple of things that we're focused on was, one, getting older, and two, getting a few more arms. I mean, arms are hard to come by at this level, as everyone's so protective of their quality arms. So we just decided to add, a few more spots. And I think the extra arms and a little bit deeper period. So I felt really good about the two biggest kind of needs, was adding more arm and getting more experience. And we definitely achieved both those goals in the off season, which I look to help us, at the start and throughout the summer.
18 of the 40 players on the roster are upperclassmen. Again, FanFest is absolutely free. It's this Saturday at 5 o'clock at the ballpark. There'll be ballpark food available to purchase. We're talking Apple Sox baseball this Friday with Storm and Joel Norman right here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I cannot wait. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday at 26 minutes after the hour. Your obscure holiday, always on May 29th, is Put a Pillow on Your Refrigerator Day today. Best I could come up with. Apparently, this goes back to old times. Apparently, to bring good luck, you were supposed to put your linen, your towels and your sheets and your bedspreads and things like that in the pantry with your food, and that would bring you good luck. Now, of course, we have dresser drawers, and that's not where we put our linens anymore. So to make up for that, they brought back this holiday. Put a pillow on your fridge day. It's supposed to bring you good luck. Why is anybody's guess? And if you do actually observe, put a pillow on your refrigerator day today, I would strongly recommend counseling. Just thought I'd throw that out there. It is the 29th day of May. Today in history, 2 states joined the Union on this date. Rhode Island is 229 years old today. Happy birthday, Rhode Island. The last of the original 13 states, the original 13 colonies. They ratified the Constitution, joined the Union on this day, May 29th, 1790. It is the smallest state, but it has the longest name. That's Wisconsin, by the way. We'll get to Wisconsin in just a little bit. The name of the state of Rhode Island is actually the State of Rhode Island and Province Plantations. Did you know that? I didn't know that either. It's known as the Ocean State. The motto is Hope. It says so right there on the flag. And Rhode Island is divided into 5 counties, but there are no county governments. The entire state is divided into 39 cities and towns, and those 39 cities and towns handle all the local governmental affairs. So they have 5 counties, but no county government, if that makes sense to you. Happy birthday, Rhode Island. Guess who else is celebrating a birthday today? Yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah, there you go. I'm not a big fan of that flag. I think they could have done better than that. The 30th state, Wisconsin, joined the Union May 29th, 1848. Believe it or not, Wisconsin does not have an official nickname, one of the few states that does not. Most people refer to it as the Badger State. The state motto is Forward. I like that. Of course, the state song is On Wisconsin. It has to be one of the best fight songs ever. Wisconsin produces more milk than any other state. There's a big surprise. And Wisconsin has over 15,000 miles of groomed snow trails for snowmobilers in the winter. That's a lot. So if you're a snowmobile nut, you want to move to Wisconsin. They got you taken care of there. Happy 171st birthday to Wisconsin. May 29th, 1922. 97 years ago today, there's the Supreme Court as they were back in 1922. And in the case of Federal Baseball Club v. National League, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled, with Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. writing the opinion, that Major League Baseball is a sport, not a business, and is therefore exempt from antitrust laws. It is the only sport of any kind that enjoys antitrust exemption. It's a business, not a sport. Well, it's actually both, but I don't know. They need to fix this. It happened 97 years ago today. And May 29th, 1953, 66 years ago today, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, they became the first people to reach the summit of Mount Everest. Somebody had to climb it because it was there. And Edmund and Tenzing pulled it off on this date 66 years ago today. Nobody really knew how tall Mount Everest was because nobody had ever been to the top. They got to the top and they measured it, and Edmund and Tenzing said, wow, it's exactly 29,000 feet high. And they said, nobody's going to believe that. So they added the extra 29 feet just so people would actually believe them. The top of the world was first conquered on this date back in 1953. Birthdays. At the bottom of the hour, Bob Hope, legendary comedian Bob Hope, was born in England. He was an English subject until his family moved to Cleveland, Ohio, When he was a kid, Bob Hope was born in 1903, lived to the age of 100. The only person with 4 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's got a motion picture star, he's got a radio star, a TV star, and a theater star. Not bad. Legendary comedian Bob Hope was born in the state in 1903. And the 35th President of the United States, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, was born in the state 102 years ago today. The shortest lifespan of any president. He was only 46 years old when he was shot to death. The only Roman Catholic president. Hated wearing hats, never was seen wearing a hat, didn't like them. He'd learned to shake hands like all politicians did, but any handshake lasting longer than a second made him uncomfortable. Was an outstanding golfer. Didn't play a lot because didn't want people to know he was an outstanding golfer. And he could read 2,000 words a minute with a 95% comprehension rate. He read 4 newspapers every morning from beginning to end, and it took him 15 minutes. JFK was born in this state in 1917. We're going to take a break. When we come back, everyone's entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. By the way, the topic today, Mike's getting old. And then my conversation with Maggie McManus and Emily Patton. You don't want to, if you love a feel-good story, you're going to get one in about 5-6 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Wednesday edition on the NCW Live channel.
While it may be hard to resist those big brown eyes and pleading face, many people aren't aware that people food can be dangerous to pets. And it's not just because of the added weight gain. Some foods are downright dangerous, including chocolate. For a detailed list of dangerous foods, go online to pawsandclawsvh.com. If you suspect your pet has eaten something dangerous, please call Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff at 888-PAWS, as your pet's health is important to us.
With spring finally here, summer must be just around the corner. So, moms and dads, what have you planned for the kids this summer? Registration is now open to sign up online, using our new RAC app, or by calling the club. Our team of professionals have multi-sport camps, swim and tennis lessons, swim team, and much more packed into our summer schedule. I'm Emma, RAC Membership Coordinator. Give me a call today. Our special summer memberships can be purchased starting May 1st. See more details at wrac.org or call 662-3544. The RAC, where we play every day.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers 1-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive, no nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson. Remember the good old days? Sunday supper at Grandma's and the best recipes being passed down through generations? Well, come on out to Blueberry Hills and find amazing food with huge portions at family-friendly prices. From Benedict's to burgers to fresh fruit pies, there is something for everyone. Don't miss Blueberry Hills, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. wildaboutberries.com.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I don't care how many movies, remakes, or sequels are done. There are some things that just are inviolate as far as I'm concerned. Now, Sean Connery is James Bond, okay? Not some other 2-bit poser actor. I don't care who they stick in that job. Sean Connery is James Bond. And something else, Harrison Ford is Jack Ryan, not that Baldwin guy or some other make-believe character. And here's the one that really kills me. Basil Rathbone is Sherlock Holmes. Now, I know Rathbone is dead, but isn't it better to preserve the integrity of the character than trying to put some other 2-bit actor, some other person in a role that belongs to Basil Rathbone alone? Now, this, to me, is the worst part of the capitalist system. Trying to milk additional money out of fictional characters when the original actors who created the roles in the first place are no longer available. Just give it up. I mean, sheesh. Let's have some respect. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine-in style at Highlander Bar and Grill in East Wenatchee. Open 7 days a week, Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in or take it to go, our friendly staff is here to serve you. Reservations recommended for Friday night's prime rib dinner. Call for live music dates. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life Channel the Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, Two Slim and the Tail Draggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 1:30 and 7 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Gardens Summer Series, only on the NCW Life Channel.
Welcome back to Wake Up in Angie Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. I love Daryl. I love Daryl Dickinson because he knows a lot of people, been around, been there, done that. And he got me involved with getting these two lovely young ladies on this program via email. And as soon as I read Daryl's initial email from last week, I said, I got to get Emily on the show. I got to get Maggie on the show. And courtesy of Daryl, we got them on the show. Introduce yourselves. Go, far left. Go ahead.
I'm Maggie McManus. I live in Kashmir. And I work for the Wenatchee School District with the 21st Century Community Learning Centers, which is the after-school grant program that covers 5 elementary schools and 2 middle schools in town.
Wow. And you?
I'm Emily Patton. I live in East Wenatchee, and I work at Avamere at Wenatchee. It's an independent and assisted living community.
And so you think, now how do these two, how's this compatible? What's going on here? Who wants to tackle the reason that you're here? Because first of all, this is a really heartwarming story, but I think I blow it. So somebody who's more articulate than I am, walk us through this cool little pen pal program.
Well, okay. You can go ahead and
Okay. Well, the 21st Century Community Learning Centers are geared towards students in 2nd through 5th grade for the elementary, and then we have 2 middle schools that need an extra boost beyond the classroom. And so we are grant funded and school district funded now. They've been going for about 20 years. The school I'm at, Newberry, is only in its 2nd year. Okay. It's a 5-year grant cycle. And we take kids at 2:20 when school gets out until 5 o'clock, and they come in and they get a full meal, they get recess, and then they get about almost an hour of academic enrichment, math, literacy, language arts, and then they get almost an hour of enrichment activities. And so we break our kids into groups of 2nd grade, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and I work with the 4th, 5th in their language arts literacy. Okay. And the way this started was during Christmas vacation. I was thinking about how hard it is to get kids to write.
Yes.
I can get them to read, and at Newberry, those kids are reading. That's their homework every night. So they do their reading in program, but getting them to write. And like any of us, they want to have a reason. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, pen pals. And then I thought, who needs a pen pal? And so I started thinking about raising my kids and how we had elders in their lives with family around. And so I came up with this idea of having a pen pal project where we found elders.
And this is where you came in.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. And I took over the activities department in January, so it was my first week, head of the department, and you actually reached out, and I was like, this is exactly what my residents need in their life. They need children that they can talk to. And when we started getting more involved in our conversations, the ideas of having the kids come and meet them face to face after a couple of months of correspondence, it just was so heartwarming that we got it running pretty much right away. Once we had the list and got everybody all signed up, it was like a snowball. It went from, 8 kids to 22.
Wow.
Right. So it just kept getting bigger
now,
and bigger.
Have the kids embraced this, Maggie, or do the letters say, I'm writing this because Maggie makes me do this?
No. There are a few kids. We started with 22. We ended up with 18 because there are a few kids whose schedule was too erratic and they couldn't be there on a regular basis to keep the correspondence going. Right. Mm-hmm. So they were fine with that. They just spend extra time doing something else while the other kids are writing. No, I sat the kids down the first, 2nd week back after Christmas vacation, 4th, 5th graders, and I said, I started it out with, do any of you have grandparents? And all of these hands went up. And then I said, where do your grandparents live? And some said here, some said there, some said with us. And I said, have you ever heard of an assisted living, independent living residence? Have you ever heard of a retirement community? They had never, nobody had heard of that.
Wow.
So I explained that sometimes families aren't able to take care of directly, have them live with them, or aren't close enough. And so this is a way you have a facility where family can be nearby. They got so interested. I said, I went and visited one recently. And when I went in, I started talking to people at the front desk and saying, what kind of things would be fun for you guys, and getting some kid involvement. And my kids started jumping up and down. So I said, so what about a pen pal project? They spent the next half hour trying to decide what to name it. And that was our first session, naming the pen pal project. They came up with SP3, Senior Pen Pal Project.
Oh, I like it.
SP3.
I like it.
We have a whole file thing for all of their letters. They have folders. It's called the SP3 box. They proudly tote it around.
There are a lot of retirement and assisted living communities all over North Central Washington. Why Emily's organization? Were they the first one to answer your email? How did you two?
Oh, no. This is where Daryl Dickinson comes in.
Okay.
So Daryl, I'm not sure the name of Daryl's organization. The Wenatchee
Aging and Adult Care.
Aging and Adult Care.
Thank
you,
Daryl.
Yes. Thank you, guys. I talked to my direct supervisor, Maura Danforth, who runs the grant program and at Orchard Middle School. That's where our office is. She threw it out to Daryl. Daryl got back to me, and then Daryl threw it out to several different communities, and I'm not sure how we ended up. You were one of the first people to respond.
Yeah, I must have been the first one to respond.
Yeah.
I got the email, and within the day, I was just, hey, this sounds great. When can we get it started? And
there was another one that responded, but it was in Kashmir, and I love the idea that we're on Western, and you were just down on Cherry, and you were right there, and I knew I had the vision of visiting down the road. So yeah.
So you have the kids writing the letters. How do you match the kid up with the senior adult at your facility? How did that marriage happen?
Well, she gave me the number of kids, and I just kept getting the residents all excited for it, and I'd go around the hall, see someone else, and they'd say, sign me up, and then as soon as we had the exact number of residents with kids, Maggie paired the names, and I don't know if you did it by alphabetically. It didn't seem to really have a match at all.
That was so fun. The kids just had so much fun with this. No, it was the second thing we did. After we did the naming, the next day during homework time, I had a basket, and I had written all the names she sent me on little pieces of paper, and I had the kids come up one by one and pick out a piece of paper, and that was their pen pal.
Oh,
and they were
just a lot.
But it was so sweet because some of the names they had to pronounce, like Maud, they was like, Maud, how do you say this word? and different names, and then trying to decide if their pen pal was male or female, because some of the names were not clear.
Sure.
And actually, one child thought they were writing a male for a long time, found out it was a female.
Yeah.
But that's how they did it, and then I explained to the kids that writing is a process, as they know, and the goal of this was to send a nice letter on nice stationery to their new pen pal, but you don't just do it instantly. So what we did was the kids each got a piece of notebook paper, and we stapled that name of their pen pal to the top left corner, and they wrote their first draft. Before we did that, on the board we discussed what are kinds of things you could do. What do you want to throw out there as an introduction, you know? And so they came up with who I am, how old I am. What kind of things could you ask? How old are you? And we discussed whether or not you want to ask, how old are you? Maybe rephrase it. What year were you born?
Yeah.
So anyway, the kids started their first draft, and after their first draft, we talked about how to format a letter with indentation and address.
And again, going all the way back to what we started, the idea is to get the kids to write.
Yes.
And to write for pleasure.
And it was so great because they started writing, and when we did that over a couple weeks, and when they were finished with their first draft, they would bring it to me, and they would go to another student, and they would do an exchange with self-editing. Then they would come to me with their draft, and I would give the kids the red pen and say, can you find 5 things you would do differently here? There are 5 places you could improve this. Really basic. Punctuation, capitalization, spelling, and occasionally a sentence that maybe you didn't want to have in there. Because the whole point was also privacy. The kids only use first names. You all only use first names. No photograph exchange, just the writing. And when the kids wrote their second draft, they had to have that approved by one of my staff or by me, and then they got to get the really nice paper and write their final draft and learn how to address an envelope. And then I gave them stickers. You get free stickers in the mail.
Sure.
I gave them, they got their pick of stickers, and they put them on, and they were so proud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then
so-
they went to you.
And then the letters arrived.
Yeah.
I drop them off. We don't use the
Okay,
post
right.
office.
And,
Yeah.
and then,
She would bring them to me, and I'd go knocking on their door and say, your first pen pal letter came, and they were so thrilled. I had a couple who had me come in, and I read it to them, and then either they would write their response or have me write it, and they'd sign it. But they were just so excited. One of my residents hasn't written a letter since his mom passed away years and years and years ago. So this is the first letter he got to write to somebody in a really long time. And so the stories that I got to learn about my residents, on top of the experience that they had getting to know children in the neighborhood, it was just very fun for them. They then addressed the letter, and I put it in an envelope, and then Maggie would come and we'd trade off letters.
and it's been what's been the reaction from the parents and the school district to this program? I'm sure they're loving this.
You know, the parents, I don't know. We have a parent, occasionally I've talked to the parents when they come in. I have had one parent tell me how exciting it is for her child. But most of my students, or half of them, more than half, leave on a school bus. I have the parent finale is next Tuesday, so I can't wait to find out. We have, the awards ceremony and all that. So the end of year program, that will be discussed. The school is totally supportive of it. Kevin Loomis, our principal, he's so excited about it, but he supports me with everything. The kids loved it. I think the hardest thing for them was, and me, was every day, did my letter come? Did I get a letter? Has he written back? Has she written back? And that was the hard part for both of us, was as the season got more active with some kids going to sports after school and not coming to program, or they had an opportunity to do ice skating lessons, so they weren't there one day a week. Getting the kids, we had kids skipping recess because they wanted to work on their letters. They'd say, can I do my letter instead? And they'd be on the cafeteria table. They were so focused. They were so proud. And but then getting at your end, was there often or occasionally hard to get the people to write?
Oh yeah, some of them. I have two residents who are actually mother and daughter, and so when they wanted to do it together, and so I had to wait at first for one of my residents' letters to get hers, and so as we're waiting for one to come, we finally get both of them, and then they have other things going on in their lives because they're busy bees, and so it was just about them sitting down to write the letter together at the kitchen table like they used to. So it was really fun to see.
And it's it's written by hand on paper with a pen or a pencil, which is the way it should be.
Yes.
And the fun part was, and I was hoping there'd be more of your people who'd write in cursive.
Cursive, I know.
Because my kids don't read cursive very well at all. And so a couple cursive letters came in, and I was so excited, and I knew this would happen. So what I had done previously is I brought in some old family letters, and I mean old, Gold Rush days. And so I brought in some copies of those and some magnifying glasses. And I said, okay, this is pen and ink cursive, you guys. This is the real thing. And I mean, they were just like, is this English? You can imagine. And then we took it up a notch to just cursive nowadays. Yeah. And they were just sitting there going, oh, I hope I don't get cursive. I hope I don't get cursive. It was so sweet. And the kids, when they did get, a couple of them got cursive, I said, underline the words you're not sure of, and so they'd underline the words, and then we'd sit down and we'd figure it out. Yeah. And another ramification of all this is I really wanted the kids to learn how to sign their signatures in cursive. Yeah. There's certain, goals I have, and one is that every kid leaves 5th grade signing their signature nicely and has a good signature. So that was fun for the kids too. They would practice it. They would just sit there on paper and practice their signature.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here, Maggie, and say this works. This whole little project has worked really well.
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah.
The kids, I've had them ask me now, well, last week we had the opportunity to I brought over 18 kids, or 16, maybe 2 weren't there, and we got to go to Avamere and have a field trip.
Yeah.
So they actually got to meet their pen pals.
Yes.
After all, kind of there's some mysterious thing, you're only using first names and there's no pictures or anything, but what was that must have been like? Tell me about that when they finally got to meet their pen pals face to face.
Oh, they were so excited. We were calling out one person's name and then the matching pen pal's name, and they'd say, oh, here I am, and they'd get to get up and go meet each other for the first time after we introduced them by name, and they were talking the entire time. I don't think anybody stopped for a minute. The room was just so loud, and everyone was just telling different stories.
Incredible.
Yeah. It was so heartwarming to see them all meet each other for the first time.
Well, and the bus for us was a little late.
Yeah.
So our kids were waiting and they were anticipating
Yep.
going. And it was their recess time. They're like, we're not at recess, but where's the bus?
Yep.
And then they got on the bus and they arrived, and the bus was so large we had to park out on the street. And I walked them in, and they had never, many of them, most of them had never been in a place like Avamere.
Yeah.
And to walk in, and there was a hammered dulcimer concert
Yeah.
going on in the front lobby. And we went in, and you guys were waiting for us because we were a bit late. And they were all gathered. And it was so fun to walk in with the kids. It was a small space. It was the activity room. And we walked in, and the kids suddenly, my most rambunctious, challenging 4th and 5th graders were suddenly just quiet and still. It was great. And then they, as Emily said, we listed the names. And the students went, the residents stayed where they were, and the students went to them. So there was challenging moments with chairs being put around, and it just started. People just started gabbing. A few of your people weren't there, and a few of mine weren't there. So we took kids, and they adopted a pen pal, just for that period. It was absolutely wonderful. The kids had all made, in an arts project the week before, they had made these little fuzzy things with googly eyes.
Yeah.
And they put their name on the bottom to give their pen pal.
We're running out of time, Maggie, but you brought some letters. So is there a couple of those that you want to read?
These are examples. So when the students have a file box in each of their folder, and before they mail their final letter, I have been copying them, as they know, because when they write another letter, they don't want to be redundant.
Right.
They don't want to say the same thing, and they've forgotten. And so I asked the kids the other day if I could take some of the copies. I won't use their names. So I'm going to, just little blips from 3 letters. So this one is from March 15th, and it says, Dear Avamere resident, not saying your name. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm in 4th grade. I'm 10. I was born on September 3rd, 2008. I have 3 siblings. 1 is a girl, 2 are boys. Do you have any brothers or sisters? Do you have a favorite kind of ice cream? I do. Mine's mint chocolate chip or cookies and cream. What do you do when you're bored? I usually go outside and play. What did you do when you were a kid or a teenager? Pretty sweet.
It's perfect.
Here's another one from early April. Dear so-and-so, my name is so-and-so. My favorite things to do are dance and gymnastics. What type of things did you do when you were a kid? I also love to bake and play soccer. I have a 13-year-old sister who plays soccer. My favorite subjects in school are writing and reading. What were your favorite subjects? And lastly, I love this one. Dear so-and-so, my name is so-and-so, and I'm 9 years old. I go to the school John Newberry, and this is my favorite school. I have a dog, and his name is Henry. And he does tricks. Henry does everything I say. So this is something about my life. What about your life? What's it like? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite sport? Tell me things like that.
That's perfect.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's perfect.
And then it's evolved with back and forth.
Yeah.
It's the letters that they write us.
Yeah, and we don't have any letters. Emily didn't bring any there's privacy reasons, so we didn't want to bring that out. So when the residents of your facility write back, do they feel the tendency they need to dumb it down because they're writing back to a 4th grader, or do they write the way they would write and let the 4th grader figure it out?
They actually really wanted to challenge these kids. I had a couple of them writing in cursive because they said, well, I bet you they won't know what I'm writing, but they're going to have to learn. And they were really excited about that. And then I had one resident who said, well, let's see if I can get her to figure out how old I am because she's asking me. That's not so polite. I'll tell her to figure it out.
Right.
And so he gave her a math problem. And
that was
wrote
really
the year.
good.
And so it was just adorable the way that they wanted to challenge.
Is this going to continue like through summer vacations, or any way that they can just, I like to keep writing you pen pal person just because I'm not in school, or am I getting way over my head here?
Well, we have to keep it at school. It's not a home thing.
That. Right.
And there is a summer program for 4 weeks that I run, and starts the week after school gets out.
I just don't, it's got so much momentum, I don't want to see it.
Well, it'll happen. We'll start again in the fall, because we have
good.
new 4th and 5th graders coming in. And so it's going to, at my school, it's going to become constant.
Because this is only a half a year old, right? I mean, you didn't even start doing this.
And we came up with the idea in January, but the real letters didn't start flowing till March.
And were you surprised at the success of this, Maggie? I mean, were you?
I
hope it works.
I was excited about it. I was surprised with how into it the kids were. The few kids, I gave the kids a choice. There are probably 4 or 5 kids who weren't that interested, and that's okay. They can read or they can do something else during that time. But their enthusiasm is evident. And I'm sure I'll run into them wanting to keep, the fourth graders wanting to
Yeah.
keep that person next year, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah,
You're staying
absolutely.
there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And the other, I've talked to the Maura who runs our program, and thrown it out there that maybe this is something that could go to the other programs.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I can see this just taking off. I mean, it's already wildly successful, and it's only a couple of months old.
And this afternoon, we've invited the Avamere folks to the school.
Yes.
Okay.
They're coming.
So they'll get a tour of the school as well, and they're very excited about
So
that.
it's reciprocal. I love that. I
And
love
milk and
that.
cookies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think
Popcorn
this
and juice.
First of all, thank Daryl's sitting over there in the corner. He's beaming. This is fantastic. I want to get that, which is one of the reasons I brought you here. We got the word out. I want this program to continue. I want it to branch out. I want it to be everywhere. This is just too darn cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
yeah.
good.
And you seem to like your work.
Oh, I love my work.
Yeah.
I have the best job.
Do you?
I really do.
Yeah. Emily, same
I'll
deal?
challenge you on that.
It's fun when you have fun at work, when you like what
Yeah.
you're doing, doesn't it?
It's so great. I was telling one of the kids about that some people don't get to go to work loving their job every day, and we're very lucky that we do.
And the kids get a new skill set. They learn how to write. They learn how to construct sentences and write a thoughtful note to somebody who they don't know.
And they're looking forward to it even more now.
Yeah.
In fact, you said not everyone might make it today. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to deal with those kids whose
I
pen
know.
pal doesn't come. It's like, okay, how are we going to do this? Maybe I'll have them be servers and stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maggie and Emily, this is great. I want you, when you're going to start this again like in the fall, right, with the
Sure.
school year. I want you back in, if you don't mind, to
That'd be
talk
fun.
about this again, if that's cool with you guys.
That'd be great.
I would
Maybe
love
we
to
could
have-
bring a kid.
I'm a former child myself.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
we go.
no,
We've
I
all been
I
there.
used to be a kid. I was very young
Did you
when
like
I
to
was
write?
born. Very young. I believe it or not, third grade we took cursive.
Yes.
And my cursive writing was so immaculate that she would hold up, here's Danny Kuntz's cursive. Now look, this is how Danny does it. This is how you should do it. And now I print and I can't even read my own handwriting. So I'm glad to see cursive is at least hopefully making a comeback.
Well, they're not writing back
They're
in
not-
cursive.
But it might be worth it.
But they really work hard at writing neatly.
Yeah.
And if they submit something to me that's I've seen better,
Uh-huh.
they write it again.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
It's good to see you. Have a really good and enjoy the reciprocal trip
We will.
when they come and visit you at the school.
Oh yeah, we'll have a blast.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Daryl,
much.
thanks for making this happen. I appreciate it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Cosmetic surgery and treatment is the most personal of decisions. It is also a field that's evolving at an incredible pace. Dr. Jones, board-certified plastic surgeon, understands that once you arrive at the decision to enhance your appearance, you'll want proven, safe, state-of-the-art technology. You'll find this at Valley Plastic Surgery, delivered by an experienced and caring staff. Dr. Jones and his staff are ready to welcome you.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
And we are back. Just about a minute left here, live once again from Studio 5 in downtown Wenatchee. Clear skies, a little hazy, 63 degrees outside of our studios. Let's take a look at the weather forecast one more time and get ready for that. At what point do you go from warm to hot? We have this debate around the bullpen, the newsroom, every once in a while. I just use 90 degrees because it's just a nice round number. So I would say, 88 today and tomorrow would be very warm. And then I would say once you get to 90, that's hot. And then once you get to about 95, that would be like very hot. We're not going to get to 95, but we're going to have lots of sunshine. But again, because of the afternoon heating that will destabilize the atmosphere, that means there is still a continuing threat, not a big threat, but certainly the threat of a thunderstorm or two popping up late in the afternoon, early in the evening cannot be ruled out outside of that. We're going to be about the warmest part in the state right here. We're going to be warmer than the Tri-Cities, Yakima, or anybody for the next 4 or 5 days. That's it for us. Everybody have yourself a great Wednesday, provided the show isn't canceled. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.